Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be showing you step by step how I set up my product listings inside of my Shopify store. There's a few things that go behind the scenes with listing products that I personally think are important. So yeah, I'm going to be showing you guys that live in my computer screen. And yes, my scenery is a little different today because I am at my grandmother's house, and this is where it's my mom's house, but my grandma lives here and she's out of town, so I'm taking care of my grandma. So if you hear her in the background, she's awesome. Everybody loves grandma. Alright, welcome back. If you are new to the channel, my name is Hannah Gardner, and in this channel I talk about digital marketing and e-commerce and entrepreneurship and a bunch of other nerdy online stuff. So if that is what you're into, be sure to subscribe to the channel because I am really trying to grow this channel. It's been a struggle to be consistent with YouTube, but I really want to make sure that this is one of my main focuses for the next however long to come. So yeah, show the channel some love if you feel like you get any value out of this video. And also, side note, this channel is sponsored by Shopify, and if you do want to contribute to help my growth or whatever, my YouTube entrepreneurial journey, go ahead and hit that affiliate link and actually sign up for your free trial under Shopify because I'm an affiliate of Shopify and I love Shopify. Like, if you watch my other videos, Shopify is just, it's the best. So, all right, let's hop into my desktop view and I'm going to show you how you can set up your first product listings inside of Shopify. All right, so we are inside a relatively new Shopify store here, and I'm just going to go over a step-by-step how I actually list my products. So the first thing that you're going to be looking for is this products tab here. As you can see, we have a few products already uploaded. This is one of my new stores. And we're going to just click up here and hit add product. Now, the first thing that you do obviously is you're going to want to come in here and add a title. So when you're choosing your title, it can be something more like silly or whatever it is, more geared towards your brand. You don't need to worry so much about adding keywords in your title, like if you were selling on like Amazon or eBay or Etsy or something like that, where those keywords actually optimize the listing. Because it's your website and you're kind of competing against the internet, there's other ways to like up your SEO. So you don't need to worry about that. So you can kind of just play with the title and make the title of your products something that goes hand in hand with your brand. So if I put Molly pillowcase, right? Whatever, just choosing something, right? Then the next thing you're going to want to do is come down here and write the description. So for instance, I'm going to just grab this description here. And a few things that you want to tackle when you're actually setting up your descriptions, right? Generally, when someone is going to make a purchase decision and commit to buying your product, depending on what niche you're in, right? People generally have like 3 to 5 questions that they need answered to be given that comfort that they can make that commitment to your store. Sometimes you don't even know what those questions are, or you don't even know the answers to them when you're first starting out because you just are new to the space, you're new to the industry. But if you're selling a product where you're really accustomed to the industry and you really understand those needs, wants, fears, and goals of your customer avatar, then you probably have good insight on what it is that you need to, sorry, that was my dog, that you need to put in the description to overcome those objections that people will have when they want to make a purchase inside your store. For instance, like selling these pillowcases, right? Some of the first things that people want to know up front, right? What's the size of the pillowcase, right? What size can I get? Another one is, what are the fabrics made out of? Are the fabrics going to stain my couch because are they pre-washed, or if they're not? Basically those things, like if someone just like starting out selling pillows, they don't even know those questions or know what questions to be answering in the description. But a lot of times those things get brought up as you just start getting impressions and people start, talking to you about your product, and you're like, oh, okay, well, that's a really good question that I should answer inside the description. One, so you don't have a customer service nightmare of people constantly contacting you, asking the same questions over and over. But two, that you're already giving that customer comfort that look, we already know that this is a concern, but here's the answer right in our description. Also, we have like an important notice, right? So these are like handmade items. So like we want the customer to know exactly what they're going to get. So this is like artisan design, painted, dyed fabric. So when we get the fabric, sometimes they can have slight variations in the same patterns, even because it's just handmade. And so we want to disclose that inside the description. We want to make sure that the product they receive is exactly the product they saw, or at least exactly what we disclose within the listing, right? We don't want there to be any discrepancies where then they can come back and be like, oh, well, this isn't what it was. And right, all you can do is forward them the description and say, no, this was right here in the description. So if they don't read the description, that's on them. All right, the next thing that you're gonna wanna do is come down here and add some photos. Obviously, you want your photos to be branded with your company. You want to make sure that the product in the picture is completely illuminated and it's the center focal point of the image. And you want to make sure that the brightness on the actual product is like very, very clear, so that like there's no discrepancies, you can see it. And it's per your judgment of whether or not the photo actually looks like the thing in real life. And if it's not, you're going to have a lot of issues with returns. So you want to make sure that your product's shots are completely like what it looks like when they receive it, right? So we're going to take this photo here. Now, when you're choosing your price of your products, you obviously want to factor in all the expenses that go into one, getting the product, marketing the product, packaging the product, and all the other miscellaneous fees that you may incur when you're running your business. More so direct expenses. So when we're talking about direct expenses, we're talking about the product costs, the shipping costs. If you are giving away free shipping, how much is that? The fees that you have to pay. So I'm putting a list right here. So we have your product costs, you have your shipping. If you are giving away free shipping, then you're obviously like assuming that cost, so you're paying for the shipping. If not, then you don't have to worry about it. But shipping, if you're giving free shipping, your merchant fees, which is in Shopify, is 2.9% plus 30 cents on every transaction. So your marketing cost is something that you're not really going to know until you start actually doing marketing and you're seeing what it's actually costing you to acquire a sale. So that cost, so if your average cost to acquire a customer is $12, you're going to deduct that $12 from what this price is. Basically, you want to try to calculate and estimate your marketing as much as you can. Other things are like your Shopify fee, that's $29. If you have any applications inside of Shopify that you use, those are other costs that you're going to incur. If you are hosting your emails inside of MailChimp or OmniSend or Klaviyo or some type of email automation, those can cost a couple, $100, $50 a month. So you want to calculate all of your costs and see what that is. And then basically how I choose my price is based off what is the headache of me getting this product to the customer and how much is that headache worth for me. Maybe don't think of it as like a headache, but just like the amount of work that actually goes into this item. Like if you're manufacturing your own products, there might be a lot of work that you're doing, right? If you're just buying and flipping an item and putting it in a package and shipping it off, and there's really little to no headache part of it, then maybe you're okay with only making a few bucks on that sale. Some people are like, I have to make 3x what my costs are or something, which is totally fine. It's just what you're comfortable with. Some of my items, like I'm totally fine with only making a few dollars off the sale because it's really like, I know that they're not going to return it. I know that this is a bestseller. Everyone loves it. So there's little to no amount of just like mental stress that goes into getting it. So if I'm even making, less than 20% or even 10% off that sale, I'm okay with it because money's still coming in and I'm still gaining new clients over that course. So you really just want to see what your costs are and then kind of weigh, what is the work that goes into this, and then kind of choose your price from there. Other people can tell you other things. I obviously, I'm just explaining everything that I do personally. Doesn't mean it's right or there isn't a better way, but that's just where my mind goes. Another thing that's really important is that the actual direct cost per item, you want to put this in there. So if you're selling it for $22.95, but the cost that it costs you to actually buy the product is like $6.90, you want to make sure that you're putting $6.90 in there, right? So you're going to put $6.90 because that's actually super important because it's going to start showing you data right here about what your actual profit is and your profit margins are. And that information is really, really important when you're actually looking in the back end and looking at your financial reports and seeing how much money you're actually making at the end. Now, if you want to run a sale, you can put a compare price at. So if you want to put $25.90, I'm getting whatever $3 off or something, then they'll actually see on the product listing page that it was originally $25.90, but now it's $22.90. Another thing that's super important is you creating SKU codes. You want to put SKU codes on everything because when you're holding inventory in the back, you want to make sure that everything is super, super organized. I did not have SKU codes when I first started out, and I launched with 170 products in one of my stores. And I can just let you know that it's been kind of a nightmare because I'm like backtracking and putting it back on SKU codes on everything because in hindsight, you don't want to have to be doing your own fulfillment forever. So in order to bring employees in and other people to do your fulfillment and do it so there is no discrepancy, you want to make sure there's SKU codes on every single item, because then they can just go into the inventory and they literally can't mess it up because there's a SKU code on the item and then there's a SKU code inside your store. So when someone buys something, they don't have to play this gamble of looking at the picture and trying to find it in your inventory. Trust me, I definitely have learned that the hard way. So make sure you put a SKU code. You can make it whatever you want. If you're selling a pillow, I usually put the first 3 letters of whatever that item is, dash 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, like that. Barcode, I personally don't have barcodes on my items. I don't sell in person, but definitely if that's some avenue that you want to start out with, then go ahead and do that. You can always track quantity. So this one is really difficult for me because I sell on different platforms. And so it's hard for me to really keep an accurate depiction of how much inventory I have, because there's some items I know, if I need to go get them or manufacture more, I have unlimited supply of it. And so for other people, this makes more sense to track the quantity. For me, there's a lot of my items that I can keep continuing selling without, even though the stock says 0. If you're not like that, if you have to go on back order, you're not going to be able to fulfill that, I would track your quantity and put the exact amount that's available. For me, I have a lot of my items on continuing without selling when out of stock because I also sell on multiple platforms. So it's hard to keep an accurate inventory when one platform says 5 items available and then, Shopify says 10 items available and then one goes out of stock, but I actually have the inventory. So it's not really worth it me to not have unlimited inventory because if one does go out of stock and it's just sitting there out of stock when I could be still making sales if I don't catch it. But that's just me, and that's how my business is set up. I have really tight connections with my manufacturers. So if I need to get the product, even if I don't have it, I can at least know that I can get it within under 5 to 7 days, hopefully. So then obviously you contact the customer and explain to them why you don't have it and whatever. That's just my process again. That's what I have been successful with, and people are generally nice, and if they really want the product, then they'll wait the extra few days. So when it comes to the shipping part of this, it's really important that you put in accurate weights for your shipping labels. When I first started out, I actually would put the weight less, so the label cost me less because I was giving free shipping. But now USPS is getting a little more advanced and they started catching me doing that. So don't do that. Just put the right weight. Just be honest and fair. Put the weight of the package. And basically what happens in here is that if you put this is, 0.5 of a pound, your origin is the United States. Here, I kind of just leave this here, or you can put the harmonized system code, the product keyword, or HS code. Used by, so this is probably for something like international products. And then also down here, you can create variants. So this is really, really important. You're probably going to use it a lot. So say this item right here, say we sell it in 16 inches versus 18 inches versus 20 inches. This is where you're actually going to come down and choose those sizes. So you just put what the size is, 16, 18, 20, and so on and so forth. And then each variant is going to have its own individual SKU code as well, because obviously if they all have the same SKU code, the 18-inch and the 16-inch are different. You're going to want to come in here and create different SKU codes for every single SKU that you have. And obviously the quantities of inventory you have per SKU are going to be different as well. And also maybe the price. So you're going to want to come down here and change all of those things. Now, when it comes to edit the website SEO, it's automatically going to take your title and your description and put it here. But what you will see if I save this product, but I'm not going to do that now, what you'll end up doing is as you're posting listings, you won't have to re-go and start from scratch, right? If this product and another product have a very similar, price point and description, you don't have to go back and copy and paste and all this stuff. You'll be able to just duplicate the same listing and just edit it from there. But when you duplicate it, which I'll show you here in a second, it's going to keep this the same as the old one. So you're going to want to come down here and edit it on the duplicated versions. If there's different keywords or whatever, this is the stuff that Google actually reads. You want to go and change the keywords for that new product, but I'll show you that in a second. More importantly, so you want to look up here and make sure that when you publish this, you're publishing it to your online store, into any other platforms that your website is connected to. So you obviously want to get this website synced to Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, all these other platforms to make sure that your products are getting pushed to those as well. And one, ups your SEO of your store. Two, it gives you more exposure for your store because you obviously want to be on every single search engine platform possible. So you're just going to want to make sure that these are checked here. I'm going to leave this in draft here. I'm not actually going to publish it. And now when it comes to the organization of your products, I don't really do it by organization. If you are reselling products and you're buying from a bunch of different places, it would be important just for your organization to put that here. So if you ever forgot where you bought that product, you just go back into the product and you're like, oh, I bought it from Nike, right? And so then you know that's where you're going to go back to buy it again. But what I do, which is super important, is I set up collections, which is in this tab here. And then you choose here which collection you're going to put it in. And then also you can do tags as well, and make sure that when you start organizing your products, you can tag the product with MudCloth or whatever that feature is about that product. It won't automatically put it in that collection. So yeah, let me just save this here real quick, and I'm going to show you that duplicate listing thing right here. So say this is still in draft, obviously it's not published. If it was published, say you wanted to set up another listing that's similar to this, you would come up here and duplicate it like this. You're going to want to change the title, African pillowcase. And you want all these to be different. Unless you want something to be the same, you probably don't want the images to be copied or anything. We're going to set it up as draft. We're going to duplicate the product here. And then now it is duplicated and it gave me the same description. It deleted the pictures. It kept all the SKUs here, and it's going to allow me to edit this here. It kept the title, but this is copying verbatim. So obviously you're going to want to come here and edit the description. If it did get moved to a different collection, you're going to want to change it here or retag it. But when you duplicate your listings, it speeds up this time because you can spend hours putting up products. So that's just a little hack to expedite this process. When it comes into setting up collections and everything, you're going to come to this tab here, and you're just going to create collections and organize, your store however you want to organize it. If you're selling home decor, maybe it would be pillows and then blankets and then placemats, whatever it is that you're selling, you're going to obviously organize it by collection, but you're going to want to set up your collection here. I might as well just go over it while we're on the video anyway. This is actually something that you can do before you set up your products. Even though maybe you don't have the products yet, but you envision that you are going to get those collections eventually, you can save them to draft. You don't have to publish it to your website right away. You can start making your collections here, title them pillowcase. The description of the collection will show up when you hit that collection. This won't show up on the individual product. It will show up on the collection page. And then you can choose the collection type. And this is where you can set up manual, where you manually add it to the collection, or automated. So this is when existing and future products that match the conditions you set will automatically be added to this collection. So like that's when you say, tagged with mud cloth. So if the product tag is equal to mud cloth, then it's automatically going to add that product to this collection, which is what we saw when we were setting up the product, that you can add that tag there and then it will add it to the collection automatically, or you can manually add the product to the collection. You can add a collection image here. Obviously you want the online store availability to be published to all the sales channels, which is where we have online store, Facebook and Pinterest. So yeah, you can add some more SEO as well, which is always great to add as many keywords in there as possible about the item and the product that you can, because eventually as your store gets more SEO and more traffic to it, it's going to automatically start optimizing the SEO. So to have that there is just going to elevate that even more. So yeah, that is how I go about launching my products inside of my Shopify store. I hope that you guys got a lot of value out of this video. And if you did enjoy any of my content or this video, please go ahead and like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video.